Hello and welcome. Today is Saturday, the 24th day of June 2017. Welcome. My name is Derek. Let's go over some alternate cryptocurrency coins using the TradingView site. The name of the coin is right in here. The code of it is up in here. I'm going to go over this really quickly, other than this intro part. I got a couple dozen codes from A to I think H, and then I'll do the rest of them later today, probably in the next few hours actually. And I'm again going over each quickly, what I see. There's a few I didn't include, but most of them in this range that I can have access to, I have. And it's my views, so obviously, like I've been stating for a while, your own risk, your own reward, but how I am seeing it. We're going to start this off with an AMP, which has just recently broken this resistance. So already good sign, good time in the bullish camp. Maybe there'd be a little bit of further support back towards this band or previous resistance. Any big corrections, I would think, down towards this 14 area. But definitely nice signs within such. Moving on to AR or ARDR, ARD. And it's having a correctionary phase within this band and previous level of resistance. It could obviously go a little bit deeper, which means in this little area in here, which is somewhere in here, you have to follow that yellow thing. Also, where it came from, if there's any deeper pullbacks, roughly around that 7 number. But if you see it starting to leave the band, that's obviously a bullish sign. Bit crystals, I'm looking to get in around 24. I mean, this is where it came back from. I mean, if you're ever looking for a spot to put a buy order, 24 on bit crystals, that's for now all I could do. I want to see it break resistance, but I first want to see it correct better. So if it just starts to go up, I'm not going to play it. If it goes up, so be it. I'll miss the boat. I miss many boats, and I also go on many boats as well, as far as make sure that you find the best risk reward plays. I like the odds if it comes down to 24 that I can get a good push on it right now. And of course, maybe a few days will go by and it'll correct a little bit better. Let's move on now. Let's move on to Bella. And this is one I can't play right now. At least I could find it. I really could if I wanted to. I mean, I technically could play on Poloniex, but after they have mishandled my Ethereum transfer without any reply to 2 tickets, as I transferred one Ethereum from one exchange to another, and it was all successful within the transaction ID and the chain, and not in my account. So I've learned probably not to really transfer much Ethereum, or definitely work within Poloniex. But this setup here for Bella, very much a beautiful one, as it does look like, as we got this newly rising 18 average holding it in support. Decently upsized day, and it's at a big area with resistance in here early May, and resistance here with a very small pullback, and definitely a nice looking chart. Moving it on to Blackcoin, and this is very beautiful in itself. We're looking at a situation in which it had this great move, this nice consolidation through time, and getting over this into the 20s, and it's close. It is very close. Resistance where it's at that upper end. Further momentum, this thing could have a decent gain from here, but it's barely up from this low. So there's lots of upside potential, I think, too. And I really do want to see it above the 20 number first, and maybe even hold and stay above there for a decent time as well. But even the same thing here, we can see that level of resistance at 20. This is a shorter term time frame. Yeah, it's just got a beautiful looking pattern. Blackcoin, something I'm going to be wanting to get into. And let's move this on to Bitmark. And this is this is established resistance as far as I'm concerned. I want to see a good move and a good correction, not just a fast move like this one here. I don't want any part of this right now, but it does look really nice and something I definitely want to look at. I think, though, if you wanted to put any type of buy order, this is a situation that putting in a small one, maybe a little over the 50 number, is something that I can do for now, as oftentimes it comes back to where it came from. And there's this 50 number in here around the April 17th handle. Let's continue on forward, and we'll take a look at the 6-hour chart on Bitmark. That's the previous resistance area. We can also see this 18 average. And of course, in the area 57, there was a resistance area in here and here. But a little bit of further correction within the band is something that I'm looking for, because breaking this resistance, that play is over. And as you can see, it comes up in here to like the 57, back to the band as it breaks. A good play. Maybe there's another one. We'll see. Let's move this on to BitShares, which is in this really choppy sideways action. Really, with this down move here, I don't really want any part of the break of this resistance. It's a good play. Oh, I can't say it's not as good as I would like within a setup. It's a good setup to break it in the spot. Nice up move and sideways consolidation. Very difficult one, at least for me to read. We're looking at, on the 4-hour chart, the clam code, which has this up move and then is just starting to fail back at this area of support. However, when we look at this on a more clearer daily picture, this full big pullback is down to the 18 average, pretty much a full pullback, which now represents very good market indications, because you don't get too many of these in the crypto game. But a failed move, fast move situation like here, see how it breaks this resistance, boom, goes down fast. See, this little breakout here would be that if it falters down. On the contrary now, going long, breaking this resistance, you know what? It's tough, because it's going long on here. There's a spot right there where if you go long, there's a losing situation. Now, as a trader, you have to decide, how do you want to do it? Do you want to hold it? Are you already out? Do you want to sell for a small loss or a break even? Are you going to sell when it breaks below it? You need to have those strategies, because not every play that's made is going to be a winner. Don't even consider that to be the case. But overall, in the long run, it can definitely be done. Moving on with Dash, something I've been covering for quite some time. Continuation of this happy phase type of formation and support within this 18 band. And next up is Decred. And here's the spot where I went long on the break of this point. So I'm pretty much even right now. Maybe even down a bit. But you know what? That's fine. As the market is just consolidating within this band. A beautiful pattern as far as that smiley face is concerned after this up move. The sideways consolidation. This thing does look pretty good, like it could have a nice move. DGB, Gigabyte. I mean, this is just terrible. I absolutely want no part of this. If you're gonna take a gamble, maybe, I don't even know where to go. 6. That just seems to that's just not that big of a move from here to 6. 4, and then you want to trust it down to there. It's a very difficult one. As this rally that occurred has not been holding too well. You got these huge multiple 2 big red candle down days and a little bit more, and then barely anything of a rally, and it's just grinding its way back down to this low. I don't like this whatsoever. I can't get much on the Doji coin, so all I can show is a 4-hour chart, because for whatever reason, even though this is like a legendary chart, there's like no data really on the trading view, but for the recent time there is, and really not much to say about this coin. It's in a bear market right now. It's making a choppiness. The attempt to bring it higher, we can see the previous resistance area was about 124. It's since came back down again, so it's got a long ways to go even just to get to that point. And any falter below 107, maybe can go back into double digits again. Let's take a look next at Einsteinium EMC2 on its 4-hour time frame. Beautiful up move, and then the sideways smiley shape formation, the break of resistance here. This is an interesting code. A little concerned about this move, but let's just move this on to the daily chart. And this is like, it's like hugging the 18 average of highs on a try to breakout stage. This could have an interesting move. A lot of risk, a lot of reward within this one, to say the least. Let's move on to Ethereum Classic. And I've been covering this basically every day. More continuation of sideways action. Same thing is the case for Ethereum, just more of sideways movement. And Expanse, EXP, And in this chart, situation where resistance was established around the 15th of May at around a little south of the 18 handle, and had a little bit of a correctionary move in here. A decent sized rally, nothing like before, but close to testing previous high, and of course piercing above this correctionary high. But since then has been holding very well amongst this rising 18 average, finding support at this level of resistance, and it has established a massive level just a little north of where this line is now, pretty much just in here, and then of course the upward area. But breaking outside of this band could be a good situation. But and also you're in a spot where breaking here, this could, I mean, going long here, heck, why not? And if you're holding, oftentimes when you play strategies, when you got a good setup and it looks like it's going to go, you may take some short-term hits, but oftentimes if you're right about this setup, if you hold, it can just still work through as you go through this nonsense of a couple of weeks of going a bit down and sideways, and then when this thing goes, you get those huge moves. So it's all about being ready for when they occur, and it very easily could have occurred right after that point when you look at it during that situation. Next, let's look at the chart for Factom, which broke this resistance in here. Very interesting. Has come back down to this 18 average. So now you got the situation of, is it continuing its bullish trend? It's very much been doing so well. It's already had this up move, some sideways action, an up move. And it's supporting previous resistance right now, which is pretty good. What's important to note, though, if this thing fails and you've already had this congestion area in here and you barely beat it with this most recent move just a few days ago, then you'd be that small rectangular that you think you can make failed move, fast move, something to consider. But I won't consider that too much until I can at least see it break below and stay below the 18 average of lows for a day or so. And let's move on now to Folding Coin. Actually, that's Florin. I just pushed the button twice. Florin will be the next one. But Folding Coin, situation in here where it's had this beautiful up move, a breakout side of here. And now it needs to consolidate. And just as it's going up, I wouldn't be a buyer at 15, 16, even at 12. No, I'm not going to be a buyer. I need to see this correct, and that's why I like this 18 average band. It's telling me right now that it's got a ways to go, either more for price or more for time. And just simply looking at this chart, where did it come from? Okay, buy order in at around 800 for me. That's all I can do. As far as waiting for a correction, I just got to do just that wait. And the Florin coin, it's been in that nice correction for a while. So come up, big, nice move to this 55 after all of this big stuff in here. So May 15th, it goes from 13 basis points to 65. Okay, how you doing? Very good. And then this very long correctionary move has taken place. That's what I want to wait for after the move. So I've waited for it. And a beautiful play here, and nothing wrong going long on here. If you went long around 45, and you're down a bit, so be it. And that's one thing you could look at and just say, you know what, I just want to go long now. It's got a good setup. It's pretty decent price given what the gain would be. You look at the situation. Okay, maybe what's your risk on it, the risk tolerance, because I mean, if this thing falls, you got this lower level hit at like 27 and you're buying at 41, that's an okay loss. This previous level where it was, that's at around 16, 15. So you're talking about a 2/3 loss of its value. So when you're playing the risk reward sometimes with these, when you're looking for plays that can get you the 200, 150, 300% gains, for the most part, you just buy it and you don't stop loss it. You just hold it, realizing if you're good at finding the breakouts, if you hit them 60, 70% of the time, that's a beautiful profit. And a lot of those 60, 70% winners, you may have to wait an extended period of time before you can actually get paid, we'll say. Let's move on forward. Game credits. An interesting pattern we have here. Through the month of June, it's been consolidating a little higher than where it consolidated at the, this part in here. This consolidation was nice breakout pattern at June. And then here's the consolidation. Now a little bit of break. above that 18 handle yesterday, trying to get above that band, and now back to it. So any type of further momentum, definitely, yeah, you could end up seeing that it could end up making a new high. Let's continue on with GNO, Gnosis or Gnosis. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I do know that it's in a bear market, and in a situation where, I mean, if you got in here on the lows, I mean, this is what you get on a bear market. And now a big push here. We can see that this support level is pretty much resistance, how you want to look at it. And it's had a decent correctionary move within this 18 average on this 4-hour time frame that, you know, I would want no part of this whatsoever. And just wanted to bring that chart up. Let's keep going forward. GNT Golem on the daily chart. And I went long already on this, and it's a beautiful looking setup. We can see in here just in May, a rally up to this north of 17 number, pullback. And after the pullback, it tries to extend the gains. It technically did come back to that area. And then, of course, this part in here. Along consolidation and a rising 18 average. So that indicates to me that the market has been holding the gain with a small bullish behavior because it's staying within the band. Anytime it was breaking out, it just couldn't stay in it during the run of June. But here, it had a real breakout above it and barely making a new high back within here. So definitely something to be on the bull camp for. Let's go to Gridiron. Gridiron, this is a situation where a beautiful up move and then the sideways consolidation. And it's been in there for quite some time. If it goes lower, looking down towards here, around the 21, down south to about 18 or so. Maybe an area where it may find a bottom if you're looking for a buy order. But breaking outside this band, and it almost did here. So situation, if you went long here, hey, another spot where you could be in a current losing situation. But again, with further momentum, I definitely still like the play. Let's move on to Hunter Coin, and it's got a nice little setup as well on its particular daily time frame, where it had this beautiful move back into this band. A nice little move in here just a few days ago. It corrected it back, but this level of resistance is supporting, and it looks like it's leaving this band right now. So a beautiful looking coin. This is the final one for this segment, and it's been 18 minutes. I knew it would take a while, but when you're going through this many coins, how is it not going to? You're basically spending like a small portion with me as I go through this information. It's almost like we're at the desk. Let's day trade together. What do you see? Well, this is what I have seen so far, at least chronologically from letters A through H, and I'll continue this later on in the day with the other ones, but I need a little break, and have yourself a great day.